Sue founded her company, Nova Medical Products, in 1993 when she was in her early 20s. She did it because she had a strong and compelling vision that's driven the company ever since, to offer stylish designs and choices to people who are required to use mobility equipment. And today her company has become a leader in mobility and bathroom safety products that provide greater independence and well-being for people who rely on them. What she's done is begun to change the look and the perception of medical equipment, and by doing that, improve the lives of millions of Americans. For these reasons, along with lots of others, she was voted one of the 10 most powerful entrepreneurs in Fortune magazine's Most Powerful Women issue. She was a finalist for the prestigious Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award. She's received the Community Leadership Award from the President's Council on Fitness, Sports, and Nutrition. She's the director of the National Association of Women Business Owners, a member of the Young Presidents Organization, and someone who is also profoundly committed to an important cause to preserve our oceans and things that live in it. She is president of the Reef Check Foundation, committed to preserving the ocean reefs, and a director of Shark Savers, which, as the name indicates, is about saving our shark populations. Those are all wonderful things. They speak to a commitment of passionate leadership around values. For me, the best thing, however, is that Sue is a member of the Cal Lutheran Board of Regents. And a number of her colleagues from the board are here, and I think they will join me in recognizing what an asset she has been in providing strategic leadership and direction to this university. So I'd ask you to please welcome our speaker, Sue Chen.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Make sure that this is working here. All right. I don't know how I got here. Sometimes I met a lot of you this morning, and I sometimes can't believe that I'm here addressing all of you leaders in our community, and I'm so honored and humbled. Because 20 years ago, actually, this week, I graduated from Trinity University. And I had such a wonderful experience there, and when I stepped on this campus for the first time and met Chris, I felt the same way. I felt this wonderful embrace. And I remember when I graduated, I remember thinking, I want to do something big. Well, I don't know if I'm doing something big 20 years later, but what I do know is that I'm a very happy CEO, making beautiful canes and hot turbo walkers, and much more. And we took a product that was so depressing and that people were in denial with, and we gave it a 180. And we took something that people dreaded and even hated and made it into something that people loved, because we are a company driven by passion. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about how things got started here at Nova. This is my father in Taiwan, and he was a gifted surgeon. And he had the opportunity to come to the United States to be a doctor and bring his family here so we could live the American dream. He couldn't be a surgeon in America, though. There were fields that we needed doctors in America, and one field was rehab. Not the most glamorous field, but this gave him an opportunity to bring his family to America. And so he came to America in 1973, and my mom and my two sisters came over 1 year later when I was 4 years old. And of course, the American dream is the American car. So there's us with the Chevy Impala, and I just remember that car so fondly to this day. And the other thing that defined America for me was ice cream. I remember taking my first bite of ice cream, and I thought, I don't recognize anybody, but wherever I am, I'm not going back, because this ice cream is the best thing I've ever had. And there's my mom graduating from Trinity University. And I went all the way to Trinity University to discover my Asianness. So you know I am Asian. I was an Asian studies major. So not the typical major that I think an Asian parent would want their child to be. They wanted pre-med, pre-law, that kind of thing. So my mom thought, why do you want to study your Asianness? And I said, because I need to get to know myself. And that was something that a liberal arts education really provided me the opportunity, is to get to know myself better. And yes, I was a proud Asian studies major. So Nova started in 1993, 1 year after I graduated from Trinity, and I didn't know anything about anything. You think you do, but you really don't. So we opened up this warehouse in 1994, and we had one dock. So shipping and receiving is a little challenging there. There's my grandfather, my father's father, and he had a lot of faith in me. And I didn't have any brothers, and he made it pretty clear if you had a brother, things might be different, but you don't. So we're going to give you a chance at starting this company. So we were very scrappy in the beginning. Those were some of our first walkers. And I remember one challenge we had is they all were coming in with scratches. And I thought, this is somebody's vehicle. This is something that they're with almost every moment of the day. It needs to look like a car, shiny and bright. And so this was us touching up the walkers. And in the early days, we had to be pretty innovative in our own world. So this is one of our first trade show booths. And we thought it'd be really cool. I think I even put a stuffed turtle animal in the basket. We made little signs and laminated them. This is my partner, Ron and Annette. That's Ron and I in the picture, and that's 18 years ago. We thought it'd be nice to have matching outfits. We don't do that anymore. 18 years later, I look at this because just last month at this show, with 355 companies, we won Best Booth. So we've come a long way, haven't we? And so very quickly, we started connecting with our customers. We felt there was such a detachment with what we did in our industry and the people we actually served. And one of the first innovative things we did was make a walker red. I had a red car. I painted my toenails red, and I thought, why wouldn't people buy a red walker? Well, people started sending in letters to us. And Sally sent us a letter with her matching her red car to our walker. And I'm like, I think we're onto something big here. Connecting with people really made a difference. And then Cliff's wife sent us this letter saying that you have given my husband a vehicle to do what he loves. And he gives people nature guides in the hills of Pennsylvania. And then Julianne sent us a letter and said, I'm on my dream vacation in Paris with my daughter because of this walker. And we realized connecting with our customers really made a difference, defined our company. So we grew. Well, in the next 10 years, we grew and we grew organically. We bootstrapped it all the way. And we moved into a big building here this is our building in LA. And then we also opened up a large facility in Chicago, and things were going pretty well. And I was pretty happy, we all were. And then I hit a phase in my life that I hit bottom. Personally, I was miserable. My marriage was falling apart. And then Nova was going through a horrible lawsuit that was tearing me apart inside, going through endless hours of depositions and watching my people suffer the same way. And that went on for about 1.5 years. And for the first time in my life, I had no passion. Found it very hard to get out of bed in the morning and go to work and lead a company. And so, what do Sharks and Brahms have in common? When I hit that phase in my life where I felt lost in my way, I found a place, a new sanctuary for inspiration. And I found it in Sharks, and I found it in Brahms. So as I was trying to run my company and just survive, I started diving, and I started connecting with these animals that everyone is so scared of. And I was listening to music that I remember connecting with back in my Trinity days, and I was rediscovering new passions that I forgot about. And so one thing that I did during that time, that place where I needed a sanctuary, I started combining these things together, and this was the first video I ever took on Sharks, and I combined it with music. And this isn't Brahms, but this is Cézanne's, and I decided to give Sharks a new voice. And then I started to connect with people that also loved the same things. And what I learned in meeting these shark conservationists and these musicians is that passion comes in three ways. You're born with it. You're just born with this passion. And I believe that God gives us a passion that's in us from the moment we're born. We just have to find it. And then passion is something you practice. If you do it enough, do what you love enough, that passion becomes part of you. Then also, passion comes from being inspired by others. And two people that really inspired me when I was going through this transition in my life, one was Jim Abernathy, and I want to show you something. This is something that very few people have ever seen.
In order to get this message across, I wanted to give the film something that no one else has ever seen before. And I believe I have that opportunity because of my relationship with Emma. I mean, she basically follows me around everywhere I go down there. So essentially what I was doing was playing leapfrog with her, and I would run away, and then as soon as I got far enough away, I'd turn around and let her approach me. I wanted to dispel the mentality of the rest of the world, thinking that they're monsters. You can see that this supposedly very dangerous creature wants nothing to do with me as a food source. In fact, it's very much like your dog swimming up to give you a kiss. It's the same kind of creature. And I find it very sad that we will allow animals, I find it very sad that we allow, let me start again. I find it unconscionable that we allow people to mistreat animals in the ocean like we would never even think of animals on land.
Emma is a 14-foot tiger shark. And then I met Sam. I was doing a shark rally against Senator Ted Lieu, and he came to my rally. And his mother said before he could even talk, he loved sharks. He was born with that passion. And he wrote this poem about sharks. I feel happy when sharks are free. I worry about sharks dying. I hope I can make finning stop. I dream that I could save sharks. He's 7 years old. He knows exactly what he wants to do. He has passion every day he wakes up, and he was born with his passion, and he practices it, and he inspired me with that passion. There he is evangelizing to his class, and he has everyone's attention. And so Sam and Jim really changed my life, and I felt re-inspired. And then after I had that first connection with the shark, 4 years later, I had the opportunity to testify to the Senate Appropriations Committee on the shark fin bill in California. And sharks helped to save me during a very difficult time, and then I had the opportunity to help save them. And against all odds, against all moneyed interest and dirty politicians, we passed the shark fin bill last year. And this here, and this is why we do it. This is Ron, my partner's son, Kyle. He's 12 years old there, swimming next to a whale shark. Hopefully we can all do that one day. And so I felt re-inspired. You know, I got my passion back from another place, but it came back to me, back to where I had passion all along, and that was with the mission to improve lives. So I got back out there and reconnected with our customers. Started meeting them, hearing their stories, taking all those tennis balls off of those walkers, meeting people like Anne, she's a dancer, 92, smoking hot. Lily, practically the mayor of Hermosa Beach, which I stopped actually in the street to come in for a makeover because she's such a beautiful woman and she deserves something better than an ugly walker. This is Marion Elaine Staton coming to Nova to get a tune-up before they go on a trip to Hawaii, of course, matching bags. And this picture is inspired by real-life events. And that has been the mission of Nova. So I went to an independent living center to do a presentation about mobility and fall prevention. And this gentleman came down early. He was a World War II veteran. He had lost a leg, and he sat in the front row, and he said, I need to save the seat next to me. So I said, of course. And I started my presentation, and a few minutes later, this beautiful lady comes in, and she scoots next to him. And during my presentation, they're flirting and glancing at each other. And after I was done, I said, is there something going on between the two of you? And she looked at me, and she goes, well, I did just wake up from a nap in his room. And he winked at me. And I thought, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And so I realized that life isn't over. Life is just beginning for so many people. Just because your body has lived a lot of years, your heart's still pumping. And so, yes, indeed, you can still heat it up. This is a little racy, but it was inspired by real-life events. Probably my greatest inspiration is Denise Glass. She came into the Nova office a few years ago to get her walker tuned up. She has ALS. She's had ALS for 10 years. And I asked if I could sit down and talk to her. And it completely redefined me and redefined my mission and fueled our mission even more, because when I looked at Denise and she talked about what she loved and what she looked forward to doing, it sounded like me. Where I was used to, what I thought about our customers as people in independent living centers or somebody, that has something I can't relate to, I could relate to Denise. This could be me. And it made me look at our products in a different way and actually spend time with our products. And she has become a dear friend and a great inspiration. And she sent a note to me last night, and she says, you're going to inspire them. So I hope I'm doing that. Denise introduced me to Norm, one of her best friends. Norm, as you can see here, is dashing, man in uniform, and a World War II veteran. He was actually a photographer on his vessel. And Norm said to Denise, because Denise said, you should think about using one of these walkers, because he had fallen a few times. And he said, I'd rather die than use a walker. That takes away my dignity and my freedom. She's like, well, come meet Sue. You'll like her. You'll like her. Just talk to her. So she brought him in. And they came in together, and I met Glenn. I just assumed that Glenn was his caregiver. No, his wife. His wife passed away after they were married for, I think, 46 years. And then he fell in love again at 90. And Glenn is his wife, and they're very happy together. So when he came in, I said, I'm going to do a mobility makeover on you. We're going to talk about your life and all the things that you love to do. As I got to know him, then I said, okay, let's choose your mode of transportation. Now he's a big walker advocate. All right, so before I go into this picture, what I learned in reconnecting with my customers is that to lead with passion, you have to have passion credibility. And what that means are 4 things, and they also start with the letter P. 1 is you have to practice your passion. That means you have to walk the walk, talk the talk. You need to live the mission. You need to be doing it. The first thing is practice your passion. The second is you need to be a professor of your passion. You need to know your stuff. And the third is you need to be patient with your passion. It takes time and resilience and tenacity to build that passion within you so you can change the world. And then the last one is you need to pass it on. It doesn't do it any good if you contain your passion with yourself. You need to pass it on. So I started, as you know, going out more and more to these assisted living centers. And one thing that was just driving me crazy was this walker. This folding walker. I was in this room. Everyone came down with their walkers. They all had the same walker. I went around the room and I asked every single person, do you like your walker? And I got the same response, I hate my walker. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about this walker. Oh, and by the way, I stalk people. I followed them around, and this gentleman here was at a hotel, and I could hear this scrape on this beautiful granite floor. I'm like, what is that sound? I know that sound. It's that walker scraping along. And the thing is, I went up to him, of course, and the tennis ball wasn't even working. It had pushed up on the frame, and the tip had worn through, and it was just scraping. So I went up to him, took his tennis balls off. I put walker skis on there, and I brought walker skis here today. So if you know somebody with tennis balls on their walker, I brought some here. Please do not let that happen. Okay, we're on a mission to get rid of these things in America. So I really want to know why. Why is it that everybody uses make sure I press the right button. That walker. So actually, I did some research on this walker. The first one of these types of walkers was actually developed in 1962. The walker, as we know today, here's a patent filing for it from Alfred A. Smith from 1970. There's a close-up. Looks like that guy, right? Same walker. 1970. The technology for something like that's so important to your life, mobility, has not changed in 42 years. We've seen so many other advancements in healthcare and zero with that walker. This picture was just taken 2 days ago by my friend Eric Chang, who's one of the world's greatest underwater photographers. He's now a walker stalker too. And he took this picture at a very nice restaurant because of this. And now I know you'll never look at that again. It will drive you crazy, okay? This is not okay, and we're going to change this in America with campaigns like this, okay? Because Marley here is looking at this like, why is that tennis ball on that walker? It's just crazy. Get those things off and let me play with that tennis ball. The tennis ball should be for the tennis court and for dogs, not for walkers. So we have these campaigns that we know will change the face of mobility in America, because that's what mobility should look like. There's nothing more important than your personal mobility in every day, in every phase of your life. We couldn't leave this room. I'm sure we would all love hanging out together, but after a few days, we'd want to leave. There's nothing more important than your personal mobility, and that's what it should be. So we did a great job, or we're trying so hard to change the stigma that we put on people with physical challenges and change mobility and independent living in America. But what we also discovered was that our industry was in a mess. 60% of our dealers, these wonderful mom and pop dealers and businesses that supply these products, 60% wanted to go out of business. They wanted to close their doors because Medicare started regulating our industry. And now they have to compete to sell that walker for as cheap a price as Medicare will allow. They have to bid for it. So a looming sense of depression went over my industry. And so if I can't save our industry, how are people going to buy the products? So I knew the next step was going to be to change our industry. So what happened to our industry? Why is it that we are putting out such awful products? And what was going to happen to our industry? So I got out there. And this is what I found. Our industry, we were closing businesses left and right. As of a few months ago, 30% of the businesses in our industry have shut down. And this is what they look like. And this is what they're saying. With everything going on in our industry right now, it's hard to believe any other industry has it as bad. The showrooms look terrible. It's a depressing place to shop. You already don't feel great about the products that you need, and then you feel worse. And then the dealers feel terrible too. And this is another quote that really shook me inside. This may seem a little like dealing with the devil, but let's face it, a lot of home healthcare equipment providers already feel like they're in hell. So I knew that we needed to change the industry, and I couldn't do it by myself. I had the passion to change the industry, but I needed my entire company behind me to do it. So I needed to infuse them with passion. Passion is good for business. How was I going to get everybody that works at Nova to be a passionate employee? So we got involved. I connected our people to the people that we serve. This last year, we did the first ever mobility makeover event in East LA. We took a whole community together. We had so many signups at Nova that we actually couldn't even have everybody go. And what it did is I brought our people together, and they were living the mission. And this is some of the people we helped with Assemblymember Mike Davis. So we got the community together, and it was such a joyous event. And this is Jimmy.
And I really appreciate, you coming to the neighborhood trying to help a lot of people, And she was really, when she left, and I talked to her phone, she had tears in her eyes.
She did?
Yeah, because she couldn't believe that somebody that didn't know her did that for her.
Wow.
See? That's the part I'm talking about. That's from the heart. It ain't just no, no, oh, she did that. No, it's from the heart. That's what she did.
That's what we're about. That's what I'm about.
Hey, I got you.
He didn't know I had a camera.
Anytime you ever need me, just come in.
All right, Jimmy. You're awesome. You're my man. All right. Everyone at Nova has the opportunity to connect with the people we serve, and it changes them. Because a passionate employee is somebody that is doing so much more than just coming to work every day. They're out there with their families and their communities also living the mission. One thing that everyone gets at Nova, and we actually give away, are these walker skis. And so I encourage people to put them in the car, because when you go up to somebody that has this on their walker and you take it off and you put these walker skis on there and you see such a measurable difference in their life, it really changes you inside. And that person comes to work doing a job that they love, and you cannot put a price tag on that. So the next, so we got our whole company involved now, and to change our industry and to give our dealers their mission and their passion back, we have a program called a Retail Revolution, and we are going to save our industry. And this is just a quick little video of something we put together as a company, so you can see that we're all part of this mission. I always throw a blooper in there. Okay. It's very hard to get a whole company to say "for a revolution" on time, and we practice that. So when I started off, I said I am such a happy CEO, and I am. I love going to work every day. And I feel like our people love going to work every day because we're making a difference. We're changing the world. And the defining difference between good and greatness, or just doing something and changing the world, is passion. And that passion is fueled by human connection. Just a week ago, and this is perfect timing, my mom gave me this. This is a can opener that my grandmother had. And she always had it in her pocket. This can opener is over 100 years old. And she always carried it in her pocket because she was an entrepreneur herself. She ran a general store. And this can opener was something she always wanted with her because she could open cans for people, because she loved connecting with her customers. And so I saw this and I thought about my grandmother, who always was there looking at me like always telling me, "Sue, you continue to live your passion." And my mother always looking at me, "Continue to live your passion." And that is something that also you need, is to be surrounded by people that love you and believe in you. And when I saw this, I just thought, that is what passion is about. That's what fuels my passion, is those connections. In the last 19 years, I've had thousands and thousands of connections that have fueled and driven this company. And I know that we are unstoppable. I feel unstoppable. I know we're going to save our dealers from going out of business. I know we're going to save them from having to lay people off. And I know that together, we're going to improve the lives and empower the lives of millions of people, because we are driven with passion. And it's 10 days from now, We will have wonderful commencement ceremonies here at our new stadium. And if I had the opportunity to say to somebody, and they asked me, how am I going to change the world? How am I going to make a difference? These students asked me, you know what I would say? I would say, put down your cell phone, put away the text, put away the emails for just a little while, and connect with each other in a human life way. Because if you connect with people, I promise you that you will find your passion and you will change the world. Thank you very much. Yes, of course.
Sue's kindly agreed to take some questions. We have microphones in the audience.
Sue, thank you for a wonderful presentation.
You're welcome.
What are you going to do to overcome the restrictions placed by Medicare?
That's a very good question. Medicare, we have worked so hard to try to communicate to Medicare and our politicians about what this is going to do to home health care in America, and will affect the lives of so many people. When competitive bidding happened with the first area, claims dropped by 82%. That means thousands of people were not getting the products that they actually need. And so I don't know if Medicare is going to hear things soon enough. It's going to take some time. So in the meantime, what we need to do is we need to make these products available and affordable to consumers and let them know that they are available. We put our products out in a place called Lorena Pharmacy in East LA, where it's very, very heavy Medicare and Medicaid. And we put the best walker, the catalog of walkers, on sale for Mother's Day for $89.95. And the guy said, I don't think the people in this neighborhood could afford this walker. Well, $89.95 is a lot of money. They value their mobility, and they just bought it. So we just have to make it affordable and available. So I'm not sure what Medicare is going to do.
Thank you, Sue. That was absolutely spectacular presentation. I'm Sean McCarthy, Executive Director of BNI Ventura County. My question is, my mother-in-law is in a walker. Can I have one of those walker skis?
I brought, Ron, if you're going to bring out there, I brought a basket
Right on.
of walker skis here, and I hope there's enough. If there's not enough, then please contact us. I also brought copies, if you want to be a walker stalker too, because I can see it in your eyes. I brought copies of my book that'll tell you how to stalk people and change mobility in America. So I brought copies of that if you would like it. But yes, a whole basket of walker skis here, so please help yourselves. Yes.
I can talk to you.
Yes, okay.
As you can see, I have my big list.
I noticed it, right?
And,
Yes.
I saw on the thing here that it's like two questions. So my stepmom, she has, we call it Little Silver, and this is my big one. And if I could get one of those to take those
Of course.
stupid,
I would, and if I could also, if you allow me to, may I bling your ride?
yes, you may.
I like to put a cup holder and a cool bag on that. Oh, you do? Well, of course you do. Okay. Well, let me add some more bling to your ride.
Fabulous. I saw the cheetah.
Yes, I know. Love it.
This saved my life. I really have to tell you, I have multiple sclerosis, and I've had it for 24 years. And after the last, last 6 years, I've had to use a walker. Started with the cane, which was wonderful, and it was my stepmom who gave me this. I have two now, and I rotate.
Of
and
course.
It saved my life.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear.
And I just want you to know that, you know what, I can't be mobile without it.
Well, we're going to make it mobile and very stylish too,
Awesome.
with that leopard bag. Yes. Yes, of course.
Things off my stepmom.
Yes, no more tennis balls. Yeah.
Hello. Do you have products in addition to the walkers?
We do. We have a whole line of sexy mobility, walkers, canes, wheelchairs, transport chairs, and all the bags, because one thing I learned is that women, we love bags forever. And so we designed beautiful bags and seat covers and leopard and aqua and red for the mobility products. We also have bathroom safety products, and we have a whole entire fall prevention campaign, Bathroom 365, because we use a bathroom every day with bathroom safety, cushions and wedges to support your body, and then I call them life aids. I call them superhero tools, like reachers and exercise balls and things like that with wellness. So we have a whole line of products. Yes, Rick?
Well, being that you're on the board of regents and all, and as our population ages, will you be coming up with a purple and gold version?
I already do. Of course. Yeah, you're far from that, Rick, but that's very, very cute. Of course, I do have a beautiful purple walker. It's actually one of my favorite colors.
Hi, I wondered, do you manufacture any of these? And the second question is, you said the design is dated back to 1970. Is there a chance of redesigning them, or are you working on redesigning these walkers so they're lighter and maybe less expensive?
Well, we do all of our manufacturing in Asia, China, Taiwan, and Vietnam. And when you say walkers have changed, and Tracy here has one of these turbo walkers. The problem is that most people don't know that the products exist and still use that, because that's what Medicare gives you, is that walker. Medicare gives you such an awful product, by the way, that you have to put tennis balls on them to make it work. That's how it got started. So is Medicare going to all of a sudden give you something much, much better? I don't want to answer for them, but I don't think so. And so the problem is also that people sometimes don't feel like they deserve a better walker. And that breaks my heart, because they feel a stigma. And something that I realize is that people do discriminate towards those with physical challenges because we're afraid. We're afraid that's going to happen to us one day or happen to someone we love. And so with fear comes denial. And so a part of NOVA's mission is to empower people. That's why you see the sexy shot, is because we want to say, look, you're still alive and thriving. You deserve to have the best walker. You deserve to have a hot walker. Yes.
Hi, Sue. Thank
Hi.
you. I have a family member who just had a stroke 8 weeks ago, and I've been that guy cutting those tennis balls. So
Okay.
I understand exactly what you said. And the thing that you didn't bring up that is so important what you just brought with that new product is that a lot of times they're elderly. And if it wasn't, they had run these tennis balls almost to the ground and
Yeah.
they were dangerous. And they didn't have, his wife could not cut these balls by herself. So
I know.
having a product that will be safe and they don't even have to worry about that
That's right.
is awesome.
It's such a small thing and makes such a huge difference. Well, I hope you grab some walker skis today. Hi.
Sue, thanks very much. A wonderful presentation. I think we're all going to be facing hundreds of thousands of veterans, not only from the various wars we've had, but the ones we're in right now. They are returning.
Yes.
And many of them are going to be severely affected. Tell us about your plans to deal with products that will help those folks get around as well. And I'm going to suggest that the Veterans Administration might be more malleable in dealing with the right product. And if it requires us to help you get the legislators to recognize that that's an important thing, then let's talk about it.
That's right. This is an area that is going to affect all of us. We will all encounter physical challenges one day or have someone that we love. And especially now with so many veterans that have risked their lives, they deserve the best, don't they? And so, we already are working with a couple. We actually had a call yesterday with a gentleman who just got a contract to supply veterans with the best walkers. And those are going to be our walkers. So we hope to get our walkers, to thousands of veterans. And I won't go into too much about it, but we do have a plan. And so what do veterans, walkers, and sharks have in common? You'll see later this year. All right. Thank you.
For me, thank you, Sue.
Thank you very much. Just put them on the table.
Thank you, Sue, for professing your passion, connecting with us this morning. You did it marvelously well. Thank you all for being here. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you September 14th at the Reagan Library for the first of next year's series. And on your way out, please turn in your evaluation cards. Thank you. Have a great day. We'll see many of you back here tonight for the Denny Gillette celebration. Thank you.